This rehab center quadrupled their leads using one simple method, leading to a dramatic increase in bookings. But before they stumbled upon what I'm about to show you, they were struggling to make any meaningful connections with their potential clients. In fact, their approach was so off-putting that nobody wanted to work with them. So in this video, I'm going to share what the trick is, how it works, and exactly how you can pull it off yourself in minutes. But before we get to that, we need to talk about the problem that these guys needed to solve if they ever hope to get leads and paying clients from their website. And it's a problem that you probably have right now too. Most companies write their websites themselves, or they outsource it to someone who doesn't really know their customers. This leads to a major disconnect, like a toddler writing a manual for nuclear warheads. Adorable, but you wouldn't trust it. And these websites sound more like a sales pitch than a conversation. They talk at the customers, not with them. The result? Well, potential clients visit these sites and then they leave without a second thought. They don't connect, they don't feel understood, and they definitely don't click that "let's get started" button. So what can you do instead? I mean, it's not like there are magic words you can put on your website.
There are magic words you can put on your website.
Oh, okay. Well, she would know. This is website conversion copywriter Sandra Beatty, and she helps business owners get more leads out of their websites just by changing the words. Okay, Sandra, so what are these magic words that any business can use on their website to get more leads?
Anything that your target audience is using, you want to be listening really carefully to what they're saying and actually use the language that they're using.
And why does that work so well?
When you are in tune with who your target market is and how they are describing their problem, how they're describing what they're looking for, you're speaking their language.
In other words, anytime you can articulate the problem they have or reflect your customer's feelings back to them in their own words, they'll think,
"This person gets me."
This is what marketing pros call voice of customer messaging, and it's been scientifically shown to work time and time again. Researchers found that when two people talk to each other using the same kinds of words and style, they understand each other better and they can convince each other more easily. They called this concept language style matching, and it's a crazy powerful tool to have in your back pocket. Remember the rehab center I brought up earlier? They were using the headline, "Your addiction ends here," just something they came up with, and their website was pretty much ignored, barely getting any clicks or inquiries at all. But then they did the research and they learned the real words that real rehab patients were actually saying. So using the gold nuggets that they found, they revamped their website and changed their headline to, "If you think you need rehab, you do." The result was night and day. Clicks soared and inquiries went up over 400%. But it's not all about using the same words that your ideal customer uses. There's one more thing you'll need to get right, and we'll get to that in just a bit. But first, how exactly do you figure out the words your customers are using? Sure, you could interview them, and if you have customers who would agree to that, it's a great way to go. But there's actually a much easier way to get to those gold nuggets all on your own. And this method combines some old school advice with a brand new twist. So marketing experts have always recommended scouring sites like Yelp for reviews of your business, as well as reviews of your competitors, to see what words your customers and their customers are actually using. But it can be really hard to keep track of all the common phrases that people use over and over again. So that's where the new twist comes in. I don't know if you know this, but ChatGPT can actually now browse the internet in real time, making it your best friend for doing this kind of research in just a matter of minutes. All you need is one really great prompt to get you going. But to get the most out of this prompt, let's get really clear on what we're looking for. First,
you're looking for commonalities. If they're describing something the same way, there's some really excellent nuggets you can get from reviews that you can actually use in your copy because it's described so perfectly because it's the perfect buyer.
These commonalities can be common feelings or thoughts, but even better if the exact same wording or phrasing comes up over and over again. Next, we want to use what we found to try and understand four main things about our customer. First, what happened to make them need you in the first place? Next, you need to know what your customers consider to be the problem. You may find that you solve problems you didn't even know about. Then it helps to know who your customers see as your competition and what they may have tried already or at least considered. And finally, addressing objections in your website is really important. So you need to figure out what those common objections are. So now let's put it all together into one epic ChatGPT prompt. So first, we're just gonna start by giving it some context of why you're asking. Having context just helps it get the right information faster. So we're just gonna type in, I wanna use voice of customer messaging on my website to increase conversions. To do that, I need you to analyze lots of real customer reviews of, then you insert your niche or your industry here, for commonalities including common phrases, words, sentiments, and ideas that appear the most. Organize these commonalities into rough answers to these 4 questions. Now here's where we get to the 4 questions we talked about earlier. So when did you realize you needed a product or service like ours? What problem does our product or service lessen or fix for you? Did you consider any alternatives to buying or working with us? And finally, what concerns or hesitations did you have before you decided to buy or work with us? Then you're gonna say deliver in the following format. Commonalities that answer all 4 questions, followed by a list of the most common phrases. Then just let it scour the web, crunch the data, and work its magic. Not only is it going to give you a great summary to use as a starting point, it also lets you ask questions to get more detailed information out of it. Then once you're happy with what you've got, just tell ChatGPT you want it to take those talking points and use them in your website text wherever it makes the most sense. I like to ask it to put the new text it creates in bold so that I can easily check it to make sure it sounds good. Then just copy the text from your site 1 page at a time, paste it in, and let it do its thing. Once they started using voice of customer messaging, Beachway Rehab Center ended up quadrupling their leads within a week, but there's more to turning site visitors into paying customers than the words you use. There's also a simple website blueprint that gets insane results that most businesses completely ignore. So go watch this video next to find out exactly what that blueprint is so that you can get ahead of 97% of your competition. Click here and I'll see you there in a second.